Hello, everyone. I'm Julia. Nice to meet you all. As you might have heard, I don't have much voice. I'll do my best. I think this is like karma because what I do in stream is mostly staying silent. And now that I have to talk, of course. But yeah, welcome in. Welcome to starting a co-working stream. This is us presenting Cami.
Yep, I'm Jonathan Jawford. I'm a community manager and moderator at StudyTme. I'm also British.
Hi, I'm Camilla. I'm a moderator as well. Maybe I'm the oldest one moderator in the stream. I'm not British.
Hello, I'm Mariadne, but you can call me Aria because it's easier. I'm also a moderator on StudyTme, and I'm also not British.
To be clear. Okay. And I'm Julia. I'm also StudyTme, but we will tell you everything more in details later. So what we're going to be talking today is, first of all, what the heck is StudyTme? Who are we? What is a co-working stream? And what kind of tech do you need for this kind of weird stream? And finally, communities in a co-working stream. So first of all, who are we? Well, that's me. I'm Julia, I'm Italian. I studied data science and digital marketing. Very important thing, if anyone else in real life asks you, I'm very tall, all right? Very tall. This is a very important thing. So this is how I started in November 2020. As you can see, it's kind of crappy, not just the graphic, but it was really a crappy stream. And this is how I grew from November 2020, which is the day that I started, like the month that I started. And I got to be, this is when I started in 2020, and I got to have a kind of decent grow in just 1 year that brought me, well, here to this point, I was actually like front page in Italy. But you can already see that here I was already like average around 400, 300 without any front page. And we might wonder, how does it look like? Well, this is my stream. Not much happening, right? Not really much happening. So why is co-working a category that is growing so much? And why is co-working something that made me possible to become partner in 4 months and also be Discord partner in 5 months? This is actually the question that we want to help to answer today. So what is actually a co-working stream? There are very few essential things in a co-working stream. Among these we have, well, a streamer. You do need a streamer. And this streamer needs to have stuff to do. Then you need a timer. And then you also need, well, moderators, and if you're lucky as me, they're as cool as them.
You don't mean that.
When I was saying about wrong button. All right. When I was saying about a streamer that has stuff to do, I'm literally meaning stuff to do. It could be anything. It could be like you have to read books, or you just like to read books. It could be like you have to be coding, or you have to be working, you have to be studying. You have to be, whatever you have to do, that's a task that you can be doing while streaming and creating a community at the same time. Like, for example, here we have a person that is studying at Harvard. This person is actually coding softwares, and she's reading books all the time. But, so then moving on to the timer, like what do we mean when we're talking about timer?
Okay, so, sorry. I'm not used to microphones. So the start of the study streams, it's the timer, because we use, most of the study streamers use Pomodoro technique. So basically, if we talk about this, like a story about the Pomodoro technique, it was invented by Francesco Cerullo. I hope I pronounced it well.
Italian.
An Italian guy. So he called the Pomodoro technique because he was using a Pomodoro timer back in the 80s. When
Pomodoro,
he was,
tomato.
it's a tomato, yeah, sorry. A tomato timer when he was studying at the university. And next one. what he was basically doing is like, you take like the work and study hours that you are gonna do, and then you break them in chunks, and then you have like between chunks a break. Usually it's 25 minutes working, then 5 minutes break, and then you have like a long break on 15 minutes. But the time doesn't really matter. You like study streamers update this timer depending on the community or all the things that they have to do.
Or how crazy they are. Like,
Oh, how crazy they are. Yeah, so usually you will see like study streamers going from 25 minutes study to 1 hour and a half study, and then they have like very long break of 50 minutes. So it really depends, and you can adapt this timer as you start streaming and you know your community and also how they feel about how long needs to be this POMO. So it's the time that you work, and then you really focus on the task that you have to do as a streamer, and then your viewers will focus on the tasks that they have to do.
So study streams differ from traditional streams in a lot of different ways. With a conventional stream, you sort of want constant engagement from the audience. You're doing something, you're playing a game, you want everyone engaged and sort of chatting all the time, and you want to have that kind of interaction. A study stream is the opposite. You kind of want to kill the vibe every 45 minutes or so. And to take your community along that journey, you kind of have to be quite clear about it. And so the initial presentation matters a lot because it's very unusual in the streaming world to have someone just kind of sat there, essentially, from your perspective, doing nothing or just working on a screen. So having a clear kind of initial presentation, when they tune in, they kind of get the vibe that there's enough kind of things telling them that, oh, we're quiet right now because we're working, but we're going to talk in a bit. And it's a reason, you kind of have to give people a reason not to be watching a video because, you know, you could just be watching something on YouTube or something instead. With the stream, it's the kind of more kind of community focus. You're doing it alongside other people. We'll get into that later, but it's a very, I guess with a traditional stream, the streamer's kind of in the lead. Everyone's watching them do something. Whereas a co-working stream, everyone's kind of in the same boat. The streamer is just working like everyone else is. They just happen to talk in between the breaks, which is very different to a traditional stream.
So why study streamers use this Pomodoro technique and this, like in general, technique to get viewers? Because mainly what the viewers will feel is that they are being productive while also watching Twitch. So listen, nice music, usually lo-fi, but you can change this. So they have like a burst of productivity, either like studying or working, but they also have accountability of the things that they are doing. Could be only the streamer, but as we explain better later, we can also have the virtual study rooms, so they feel like they are working or studying along other people, so they are not alone doing their tasks. It can be also like a good way to have networking or connection or to know people that are doing the same things as you do, usually, and you spend like, as a student, you spend a lot of times in front of the computer listening lectures or something else, but then you are not alone and you feel like you are doing the same things with others. And also getting you, like, if the streamer starts always at the same time, you always get a
very
routine.
much attacked.
You get a routine along with the streamer. So the streamer starts like at 9 a.m., then you start working or studying at 9 a.m. with the streamer. So you go along, and it's easier to get a routine for your working life. And you get a lot of motivation between the breaks, and you are doing something fun when you are working or studying, and it's not all stress or I have to deliver this task or whatever. You can get some, like, that's the idea of the breaks, to relax, to stretch, to drink water, and yeah, and have like a healthy life.
Yeah, that's a rare picture of me crying. Like, and I wanted to show it to you because, like, being a streamer is already very stressful, and I want you to understand that also being a co-working streamer can be stressful. So sometimes it's necessary to understand how to make it sustainable. Well, first of all, Well, first of all, it's very important to find the right mods.
She's still looking.
And then another thing that maybe you also feel the same, and like it's not just about streaming, and it happens many times in many other scenarios, but sometimes we feel like we have to do everything, we want to do everything by ourselves, and this is one of the places where like maybe one of the scenarios where maybe it's the worst thing to do, because you have a big community around you and a lot of people want to help you. Like it took me a very long time to understand that people really want to help me, so this is also very important. Also, another important thing is like it's focus time for you too. So look, during that time that you're supposed to be focusing, maybe, yeah, I see it. Like sometimes I get distracted. Sometimes I look at chat. Sometimes I go see some videos, but don't say anyone. This is a secret. You have to remember that that is your focus time. Even if you feel like you should entertain them, that's the whole point. You don't have to entertain them. They should not be entertained viewers should not be entertained during that period. And then also understand your limits, because going back to the fact that you want to do everything, sometimes you feel like, oh, I want to do this and this and this and that, but you also are working or studying or whatever you have to do. So you have to understand what are your limits. And this brings you most of the times to create clear boundaries to what you allow and what you don't allow. But this is typical for every kind of streams, I believe. But especially here, because for 45 minutes or 25 or 1 hour and 30, you will not be looking at chat, and mods need to know what they have to take care of. For example, I hate entirely compliments with all my life. So we have a command that whenever someone goes like, hey, baby girl in chat, like, no, please, no, thank you. And we go with, this is a compliment-free stream. Then, right now, the co-working category is growing very much. There's every day, or almost every day, new streamers that are getting into hit this. And you might wonder, well, if I'm being silent for most of the time, how can I be different from all the others? How can create some variety from someone else? How can I have someone choosing me instead of others? Well, what I found out that was useful for me, at least, was to create unique services somehow. So the stream, how I intended, oh my God, I cannot say the T's. How I intended, it's not just me studying and doing my own stuff on stream, but it's also a lot on Discord. We have a lot of events going on Discord. We have community voice calls that people gather on together just to learn English better, because we have a very international community. We used to have a lot of workouts. Now I don't work out much anymore, but creating new things that people might care about in the entire process. How I always defined it was more like a virtual experience of the university, because all of this started way back when coronavirus was going wild. Well, not that now it's not, but when we were all locked down and we wanted to create a virtual experience of the university. Then it's very important also to create a niche. So to understand, what do you like to talk about? Do you like anime? Cool, you could have a very cool community of people that are studying but also love anime. Or also very important, I believe, is to embrace your story and to actually tell people your story. Because at the end of the day, we're all humans, and it's easier to connect with someone that you know where they're from, what they've been up to, and people really like to be close to you in a certain way. And then to create an identity. For us, for example, we have the CEO gang, because one day, way back at the beginning, I was still in chat with 5 people, I think. And we were talking, we were like, oh, maybe among us, there's gonna be the next CEO of a company. And from there, the whole belief of we're actually not just CEO of a company, you also don't wanna be that, it's too stressful, whatever. But it's the idea of we're all leaders in our own communities and our own lives where we have the power. Well, it's a very long, boring thing, but we have our own identity. And then regarding the tech and what you need for a co-working stream, to be honest, I think that is one of the streams where you have the lowest bar to the entrance. This is me. This is not even this is after a couple of improvements, still crappy, kind of a scenario and things, because like, it was back when I had 2,000 followers. I was using the microphone, well, at the beginning I was using the microphone of this headset, which was horrible, honestly horrible. Then I switched up to the microphone of another headset, but still not a microphone. And like, for example, the timer, I was using like just the website that was doing timers, just that. And the camera actually was the camera from my laptop, because I was like, most of the time I've been streaming from my laptop, and it's, as I call it, a potato laptop. Like if you open a PowerPoint, it crashes, that kind of laptop. But because you're just streaming yourself, you don't have to have any kind of software behind, nothing major. It's one of the easiest one. Well, then the sandwich was not too bad as a situation there, because I was in France. The baguette is not too bad, recommended. This is actually how it looks right now. Is it now? Yeah, like right now. For example, I decided to have an improvement on a microphone. Still not the top tier microphone, because we really talk for like 10 minutes out of 50. So I decided mostly to improve the camera. That's what I would suggest you if you decide to get into this route, to invest on the camera, because that's what people see most of the time, right? But still, like the timer. Oh yeah. Oh, I was clicking the wrong one. Still, the timer was like, it's just a stream elements one, like chill, like nothing crazy. Oh, regarding the food that did not improve during the time, I got to a salad, which is not better. But then how should it look like? And I leave the word to Arya for this.
In the beginning, you only need the timer. That's the most important thing. So you don't really think about the background and the aesthetic of the stream. But at some point, it's nice to also have that and to apply it on the stream. So like Julia has a nice background on the stream, in my opinion. It's really nice for the viewers. It's not very distracting, and that should also apply to the overlay as well. Well, some people like add a lot of mini games or a task list, and that can be quite distracting for the viewers. And in our experience, it's better to keep it as minimal as possible for the viewers and the streamer. So yeah, less is more.
And then regarding the communities in co-working.
Yeah, so the community is kind of the heart of the stream. Without the community, there really isn't kind of a stream. It's just someone working on a camera. So everything down to the chat itself and how people sort of interact with each other is of paramount importance. And it creates a kind of fun atmosphere. I mean, that's the advantage to a study stream over just kind of streaming with a video. You kind of have regulars in chat that you see all the time. You're kind of working together. If someone's just passed an exam, for example, they're going to chat and everyone will be like, yeah, nice one. And it's also kind of about finding people you kind of get along with, where you just feel comfortable. And obviously everyone's going to have their own different kind of vibe depending on the stream. So we kind of have a kind of more kind of jokey vibe. We kind of all get along. We kind of like have kind of like light insults towards each other and things like that. Whereas other streams are like full on positivity and like really sort of people building each other up and all that. I mean, we do that as well, but we kind of just, we like to joke around at the same time. I mean, it's also important to remember that people shouldn't get distracted. So during focus time, we don't police the chat in the way that if someone starts talking, we don't go, shh, stop talking. Only if someone's
You're the worst ones. Sometimes you are the ones that are talking too much.
Yeah, I suppose. Well, we have to do all the commands and everything, don't we?
Yeah,
That's the excuse, the
Yep.
commands. So generally people find a good level, and in the breaks people just kind of chat and and people really do help each other as well. Especially on our Discord, if someone's got a problem, we'll normally direct them to that. And say someone's trying to code something, they'll use like the tag coding helpers, and people will jump in and help them. It's a very collaborative thing rather than just performative like a lot of streams, which is really nice to find. So the community is kind of the focus point. Without the community, there's no point having the streams.
Yeah, and I think that's what co-working means. Like, that's the important part, that you are working along others. So you really need a community to like support each other and like co-work, and you have the environment.
Yeah, and you can see here this this is an event that was held. This is actually I think the spring prom that was held, and everyone kind of dressed up. This was in the middle of lockdown, so obviously everyone was mostly wearing pajamas and stuff at that point. And it was a really kind of good way for people to connect and meet outside of the studying itself. I wouldn't say that, obviously, if you're starting a study stream, you immediately rush into creating a prom. It's more kind of, this is something you can kind of build up over time. It's what you feel comfortable running. Maybe you just want to run a movie night or something like that, just something to bring people together. And then there's the other points as well. So having a regular schedule, as Cami mentioned, or a semi-regular schedule, just so some people can develop a routine, like they get up and they do something. And it does feel very much like a routine when you join a study stream as well. It's kind of like, okay, I'm in chat, or I've joined a study room on Discord, which we'll get into. Now I'm working. This is a work mode. And it also kind of stops you browsing around as much, because you kind of got this on the other window. You've got your work on this monitor, you've got the stream on that monitor, and you're just kind of working away. Whereas otherwise, if you had a video, you might kind of be like, okay, I'm going to go for this video, and I'm going to look at this song, and oh no, now I'm looking at every other video in existence while trying to do my work. Yeah.
But no, I just want to add, like, it's important to meet your community, because not all study streamers community are the same. So you will have like a focus on like something that you have like in common. Of course, you have, as a viewer, you have like the study streamer in common, but you will find out that you will have more things in common to share with others. And we used to say like the stream doesn't end when the stream is over, because like in the virtual rooms, it's like 24 hours, 7 days a week, and we need to like, because at least we have like a very international community, so it's like people joining from Asia in a certain amount of time, then from Europe, and then we have America. So it's like we somehow need to be there 24 hours, looking and like moderating the study stream, but also like being part of the community and doing activities like the prom and other activities like after the stream.
Yeah, so basically we didn't really explain what a virtual study room is. Like you can see it on the screen. It's a Discord call where you can join to focus on anything, really anything you have to do. It could be working, it could be studying, it could be cleaning your room, it could be anything. And you can turn your camera on or off if you want. People turn their camera on because it helps them feel more accountable, I guess. You also have the feel of like a library. And yeah, it basically gives you company and other people to work with.
Yeah, so like,
yeah, it might look a bit scary in the beginning to join. Like it was for me. I'm a very introverted person, but at the end of the day, it's just people that want to focus on their tasks. It's yeah, that's pretty much what it is. It's
yeah,
a
so
very nice community.
Slightly different from the usual like voice calls on Discord. We have everyone, it's muted, so everyone, like anyone can talk. So, and it's, of course, it's a bit scary at the beginning. It's up to you if you want to turn on your camera or not. And we do have some Discord bots that help us to manage, because sometimes we have a lot of people, as you can see in this image, joining. So we do have more than one virtual study rooms, but how large the study rooms needs to be, it really depends how large it's your community and how the community behaves. Because, and also you will see like the rhythm of university or school, because you have some moments and some months that you have like all the study rooms full, and then like summer holidays, like you have only 5 or 10 people. So you need to know and update your experience to the users, depending on how they behave as well.
Oh, well, there are also many co-working tools that streamers use with the community, like tools to help you limit your distractions, or start to-do lists, where we've been using that a lot. And Julia usually yells at the people that have too many tasks on their to-do list, so be aware of that if you ever join the stream. And of course, Discord bots.
Yeah, so as we mentioned before, the virtual study rooms are really important for coworker streamers, and Discord is like an essential tool for that. You have a universe of Discord bots, and you may not find the right one, but you can also create one. And you, like, the idea is to grow as the community. You need to know your community to set up bots. For example, we have been having like the music bot, but actually for some months they use it and for some months not. So it's fine if you as a streamer or as a moderator want to change. Don't stick to like always doing the same things in the same way. It's better if you dare to introduce new things, people will accept them. And yeah, because it's like, it's not as, Discord is not as stable in the sense that we are changing so much and they are introducing so much stuff like every single day. So use also the tools that you have out there to update it. I won't say like any specific bots because you have so many, and depending on the tasks and the things that you want to automate, you can find the best one for you.
Then from a monetization point of view, which is, kind of the reason why some people maybe want to become a streamer, or like they see that as an achievement. If we think about co-working tools, we're thinking maybe about those productivity tools that most of you maybe have used even in a previous job or at school or whatever. And most of these tools still are not in Twitch, or they don't know very much Twitch. So there is a huge, huge potential for these kind of companies to join on Twitch and just find you and just start sponsoring you. Instead of having the 3,000 Shadow Jet Legends or, I don't know, VPN kind of sponsorship, these are kind of companies that could be very interested in what you're doing. And it's something that you can keep an eye on for the future for sure.
So the tricky world of moderation. It's different with the study stream because it's so different. When people come in, they're expecting the streamer to be like making loud noises or doing something or playing a game, something they can connect with. And if you come in and it's just it's just lo-fi and the streamer's just chatting, normally the first comment someone's going to make is, "You're muted." And
we cannot hear you.
Yeah, and that's to be expected. So with moderation, a light touch goes a long way. I mean, explaining things just helps so much more than heavy-handed banning people for things. Some people will get a little bit angry to start off with because they're just like, well, what's the point of this? What are you doing? Why am I here? And politely explaining it. We have commands and stuff, but like taking the personal approach and just saying, hi, nice to see you. This is a study stream. If you need to do anything, this is a good place to do it. If it's not for you, don't worry about it. It's cool. We're not here to convince people that this is going to completely change your life. It's helpful for some people and not for others. And I think with moderation, it's good to take that approach. Any moderation action you take in chat will distract people to some degree. If you're going on a banning spree, someone's going to look over while they're working and be like, oh, why is everyone getting banned? And suddenly everyone's chatting about the bans and things like that. It just sets off a chain reaction. So a light touch is best if possible. Obviously, anything like hate speech and all the general stuff, you would still moderate. It's more about knowing the vibe of your stream and the community and knowing where you set the limit as a streamer. If you're the kind of person that kind of jokes around with the audience and someone says something about your appearance or something and you generally say things about that as well, moderating someone for that would be kind of unusual. I would generally try and stick to the same kind of lines. And like I say, there's a whole vast array of study streams out there where they have different moods and different feelings. It might be entirely positive, everyone is just saying nice things to each other, and that's totally fine. And anyone that says something quite negative, that they might get moderated because that's the vibe of that study stream. That is not the case with our stream. Obviously, we don't let people go crazy or insult each other, but we're very relaxed, and we like to let people express themselves and generally be relaxed. The only other point I would add to this is that chat can be in a variety of languages based on your target audience. Obviously, G is Italian. So we get a fair few, obviously. So we get a fair few Italian people, but G also speaks 5 languages, and she can read all of those. So we try and moderate in 5 languages. We let people know what languages they can use in chat. And that presents a challenge in that we have to translate things, but generally it's all right. I guess English would be the dominant language for a lot of them, but increasingly going through the study streamers, and this is a niche for some people, it's in a specific language. You'll get like Spanish study streamers or Portuguese study streamers or things like that. And obviously if you go in there and start speaking in English, you might get moderated and things like that. Yeah, so
Going back to the
Yeah, sorry.
previous one, so important thing is that the moderators are also working and co-working along with the study streamer. So that's the main reason. So also like the study streamer can be busy and the moderators can be busy as well. So a good communication between the streamer and the moderators is very important. We do have very specific commands to tell the streamer like we are on a meeting, we are not like we are AFK. So it's and also we have like some. And I think that Julia was referring to this, like to help others, because we have some specific commands to, like, when she's not, like, on the camera, we can manage some things with commands. And we also have, like, moderate somehow the stream, not only the chat, but also, like, turning on the camera or turning a specific timer for
Turning off the camera.
or
Yeah.
usually we turn off the camera.
The camera, yep.
yeah, we found the command to turn off G's camera, so we don't abuse that, definitely not.
So it's very important for the streamer to find the support on the mods, and we try to do our best as well. But we are all sometimes also busy, so it's like a double way, helping way. Yeah.
So yeah, trolls, unlike people that are just confused, trolls are kind of coming in for a specific reason. I think if we go to the next slide, yeah. So as you'd expect with a woman on screen, on screen streaming and with the LGBT plus tag, you're going to get a lot of people that come in just to abuse the streamer, either like sexist insults or abusing the community. And it's important to recognize the difference between that and someone who's just genuinely confused and has just come in and doesn't know what's happening. Generally, the trolls won't engage with anything. You know, they come in, they line up their joke, and then they say it, and then they get banned. And that it's a very kind of quick thing to see and just to stop. Generally, people that engage are probably going to stick around a bit longer, or at least understand, or just say, sorry, this isn't for me, and just go, and that's fine. But trolls are very easy to kind of recognize and just kind of to just get rid of, to be honest. It's important not to let the trolls disrupt the focus too much. I think G likes to banter with them
Troll
after
the
the ban.
trolls.
Yeah, to troll the trolls back.
I really like dad and mom jokes. I'm sorry. I really do.
But it never really takes over the stream. It's not like we then have a long dialogue with this troll about why they're right to be sexist or whatever. It's a very kind of that they're coming in to disrupt the stream very clearly. I think for trolls, it's also a weird environment to kind of, because they're kind of used to the streamer being very interactive and talking constantly, and they're like, oh, I'm going to say this funny thing, and it's really going to ruin things.
No reaction.
Most of the time, they come in and it's silent, or it's got the music playing.
Nobody say-
They say this like really abusive thing, like, this is really going to show everyone, and they get quickly banned, and no one even notices, and chat doesn't even respond. So it's a very weird environment for trolls to try and get into, which is good if you're kind of worried about being trolled. I mean, it is kind of putting like a target on your back in a way because it's so different, but it's not too much of a problem overall. I wouldn't say trolls are one of our biggest problems. They're just a kind of minor inconvenience.
Yeah.
And to conclude, like, okay, you might think, oh, this is amazing. I can do my own stuff. I can stream at the same time. I can create a community. Oh my God, it must be looking amazing. Yeah, but I just want to make just something very clear. Do you remember the graph that I showed you before when from 2020 I got to now where I got around 400 or more viewers? Back then in November, I was streaming around 12 hours per day, 7 days to 7. And that to show, like, yeah, it can be amazing. It can be beautiful. You can create your community while doing your own things, but there's work behind it. Don't think about like, oh, I'm gonna do 1 hour and that's it. I'm gonna be a millionaire in 2 days, nice. No, that's definitely not how it's gonna work. And as I say too, I think that it's valuable for every kind of streamers, but especially here, if you're thinking about starting to do this kind of co-working, I'm super amazed for you. But when you're doing it, start to think like that you're gonna be doing it for free and to no one. And if you still think that it can be cool, then start. Because if you cannot survive to the idea that you're not gonna make any money and you're not gonna be having a lot of like a big community, especially for the first month or like weeks, then you're gonna be very, very disappointed in yourself. And I really hope to not see you disappointed in yourself. It's just a hard job in any case, because I strongly believe that even being a co-working streamer, it still means to be a streamer. And it also means that you have to be creating content, not just for Twitch, because we all know that you maybe want to create more content outside, or you just have to be there for your communities, not just Twitch. So if you want to start this path, I'm super excited for you, but just remember that there is work to put in. And if you have any questions about the work that you might have to put in, we're all here very happy, super happy to answer to any kind of doubt. Like, we know that this is a weird kind of stream maybe. Cool. So most of the times I don't have things that are related to school, so I don't go much with with the vacations and stuff. So like most of the times I like creating content, creating new events for the community, contacting partners, creating like collaborations and all of that. And yeah, most of the times I always like go off stream and keep studying and working on that.
I'd say even as a viewer, I tend to join the chat and just join the community, even if I'm not doing anything, if I'm not doing work, if I just need to do some admin or just tidying or things like that. Sometimes even if I'm just kind of like playing like a fairly, like just a game in the background while I'm writing something at the same time, and then I'll have the stream up just to be part of the community and just to feel, even if we're not chatting directly, it's just good to feel part of it. It's part of the routine, and it feels weird not to be in the community if you're doing work or anything like that. Obviously, if you're playing like Call of Duty or something, there's no point having the stream up at the same time. You can't you can't focus on an FPS game. But there are some games where you can just chill out and have the community up at the same time. It's not like you solidly have to be studying and only studying to join the community. It's anything you want to focus on, even if that's just your own relaxation.
And
We actually-
we also make the joke like now we live our lives like in a Pomo times, because like if we do something, we do things just for 45 minutes and then we have a break. We now have like need the breaks to do things. So after this talk, I will have a break for 5 minutes because this is my time.
Actually, we have people that do League of Legends Tomato, so they do one game and then get back for the break.
Yes, like how you manage your time and the things that you do doing, you can really, that's the magic of the technique. Like you work very focused of 45 minutes or 25 minutes, and then you like reward yourself doing something that you like. In our case, it's like chatting in the stream. But we also like, yeah, we try to incentivize people to do something else during the breaks. And but that's how you reward yourself with these breaks, so you are able to do this like maybe long tasks or get focused for longer periods, and not like 3 block hours doing or studying. And then you may spend 5 hours, but then you got some breaks in between, and you have more like mental health.
Thanks for the question.
Hi. Context switch, especially emotional context switches, are dangerous when doing productive work. Previously, you mentioned that when someone passes an exam, you celebrate with him. Hey, you passed the exam, congratulations. And then there are also trolls that try to ruin the vibe. So my question is, when doing Pomodoro, I suppose that when doing productive work, you want to be emotionally stable throughout all the time. But if you do 25 minutes of productive work, and then there's a troll, and then there's a celebration, and then there's another troll, how do you keep emotionally stable and still keep productive?
That's a really good question.
That's an amazing
Yeah,
question.
sometimes it's hard. I mean, we do celebrate. It's actually a very short celebration, like, well done, you're doing great.
Like that. Well done.
Well done.
Well done.
Mad congrats and congrats person.
I would say our community is pretty good at getting back into focus time, though. I think it's just something you kind of get into a rhythm of. So it's like the break can go crazy. We'll end up listening to music or rickrolling each other or stuff like that, which I love doing. But as soon as the focus time goes on, we kind of wind it down, and people do just genuinely stop talking. I mean, on an emotional level, I don't know if they're still living a high off that rickroll or not, but they do, the chat does simmer down and people kind of get to a level. In many ways, it's like regulating, it's like a wave, and obviously you're studying down here, you have a break, and then you go back, and it just kind of levels out like that. Nothing overly dramatic will happen in a break where it's like it's going to scar you for life or anything, or be so exciting that you can't possibly continue working.
I mean, like you can have, like, for example, like if you have the high train, that's super distracting. So we try to have it like either at the beginning or like lunchtime, that people are like more active in the chat. So to try not distract like the super focused time from the viewers.
Yeah, then there's me befriending chat trollers, and it's fine. I make friends with those that do the, how do they call it?
The bots?
The bots, the chat bots. I'm a friend with them now.
Thank you for the question.
Thank you so much.
Hi, can you hear me through the mask?
Yeah, it's perfect.
Cool. I am struggling to hold the question in my head because I am neurodivergent, ADHD as hell, if you haven't noticed. But my question is, this sort of stream, is it quite good for people with like neurodivergent troubles? Like, because I'm just thinking like, this seems like it'd be great. If this existed 10 years ago when I was at uni, I'd have a much higher number on my degree. I'd be very happy. It's I like the vibes. Do you find your community's got quite a lot of like neurodivergence, and it's for folks like me?
Actually, like, yeah. When I started this, I was doing it mostly for myself, to be honest.
Yeah.
Because I was not focusing. You know, like maybe some of you have been working, And what I was doing, I was working from home. I was just moving the mouse pad and just look online on Teams or on Skype, just to, that's it. And then I found it very useful for me. But then I was never diagnosed with ADHD. And apparently I have like kind of the symptoms because of my anxiety, but that's another topic.
Yeah.
So like what other people told me is that body doubling, I don't know if you've ever tried it. It can be very, very useful if you have ADHD, which is like, for anyone who doesn't know, is like, if you have ADHD and you see someone else doing the task that you should be doing, you feel more like compelled to do it, and you feel more like focused into doing it. So like when people see me studying and working and they have ADHD, they feel more like, oh, I'm okay, I am focused, I'm gonna do this at the same time. And also like, in general, usually the tomato technique, Pomodoro technique is useful because like it helps you to focus only on one task, which usually when you have ADHD is very difficult to make clarity in your brain, like to focus on one thing. So like it's a way to like help each other to like focus on one thing. And there's a lot of people in the community that have been diagnosed with ADHD, I think, right?
And it also helps to be in the community as well, because if someone is getting distracted, someone else will say, oh, I think we need to go back to work, or we need to keep focusing, or there'll be a kind of burst of energy and then everyone goes back to work. And I imagine that's quite good if you can't help being distracted. If you have a window to be distracted, but then you go back to work, it's all kind of regulated, whereas if you're just by yourself, it could probably just spin off and you could end up doing something completely different. Sorry, carry on.
Sorry, and even with the study rooms, like when you, I don't know if anyone feels that way, probably, but when you get in the study room, you get into the mindset of working just immediately, just by clicking the study room. So, and you see the other people study as well. So that really helps you put you into the mindset of working and make it a routine at some point.
And like talking from my perspective, like when you have the stream and then like the streamer go to the focus mode, and then even if you want to try to get distracted, well, you don't do it intentionally, but you just see someone sitting in front of the screen, lo-fi music, the chat is almost dead because you only see like the street elements bots. Yeah. And it's like
I swear we're not sponsored by Stream Elements. I swear. I swear.
You have an incentive to, okay, now I have to go and focus on my own task. So that's basically like from my experience, I do.
Awesome. Thank you all. This is awesome. I'm so sold.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for the panel. It's been amazing. I'm sorry if this was covered. I was a little bit late coming in, but I wanted to ask about what tags you use, if there are any specific ones, and also, do study streams go in the just chatting category, or is there a specific, you're nodding like, oh, yeah, so I assume there's some kind of contention around this. But yeah, and I was wondering about where most of your viewers kind of come from. Do you find that people find you through Twitch itself, or do they mostly find you through other social media platforms?
So the tags that have been used, like there's only one tag that has been introduced lately, which is the co-working tag, which is where you can find all the ones that are doing co-working. We don't have a category yet, but as like a study streamer, I wish it was not created yet, because I don't think that we're big enough. And now we're getting found by just chatting, because we're all in the category just chatting. So someone just randomly jumps in, is like, what the heck is this? And they found us. If we had the category, we would be like doomed in our little dark corner and like this.
But we do get a lot of comments with someone saying, "Where's the chatting?" It's just,
That must be very annoying.
yeah, but it's just a polite explanation, and they kind of generally get it.
The LGBTQ tag.
Oh, and then, I mostly get, I remember there was another question. And then we mostly get found from Twitch lately. I haven't been creating content in other platforms that much, but since December, I'm starting to like improve on that, and I see the benefits for sure on that, and collaborating, and like actually seeing myself as a streamer has been like a huge shift, for sure.
This is like a joke, but we used to have the hot tub stream tab, and a lot of people found us because of this tag. But it was a joke, and then yeah, it was
I used to have the hot tub in the background. Useful.
It was a piece of paper that
Yeah,
said,
it
"This
was
is a hot tub."
yeah.
written on it.
It's totally
It was a fake hot tub.
I would also add there's a co-working community as well, and they tend to raid each other and talk to each other. So talking to other study streamers is a great way to kind of build an audience as well, because everyone's it's not a competitive, like we're not here being like, you better not start study streams. It's a very kind of collaborative and welcoming community, and generally everyone kind of is on the same level there as well. So it's a good way to get more viewers just by being nice to people and getting raids from them and stuff like that.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, hello. Oh, I can't really handle my own voice. That's like my thing. But I was wondering, because I'm thinking of getting into like co-work streaming in a way, but I'm personally really afraid that my workplace wouldn't like me doing that. So I'm like, did any of you have that impediment? And yeah, for me, it's just a step to get over.
When I started, I was actually working for a multinational, and they didn't know at all. But so I don't really know what to suggest you there.
Didn't your
Like,
boss find you one time?
No, that was someone that created an account with the same name,
Oh, I see.
and that scared the shit out of me. But yeah, like I cannot tell you to lie to your job, but at the same time, like from my perspective, like you're not doing anything wrong. You're working. You're just so I don't. At the same time, like okay, I'll tell you my perspective on this. Why I didn't tell to my boss that I was doing it is because like if they said no, then I would not be able to continue. So I just didn't ask. But I mean, I don't really know what to suggest you.
But
I think you are not really sharing your work.
Yeah,
You are just sharing your break time.
And I never show my screen. Like there's one screen that is showing now, but you can also decide to just completely hide it, and there should not be any issues.
it is, I would say it's becoming more of an accepted thing as well. I've seen a few articles about co-working and study streams, and people are paying a lot of money for something that you get a better service on Twitch, to be honest with us. It doesn't need to be all this corporate. But what I'm trying to say is it's becoming more of a widely known thing. So it's the kind of thing you could say to your boss, like, this is going to help me work. And I could also, like, say something about the company maybe, or they probably wouldn't be in for that. But it's going to help me work, and it's not going to cost the company anything.
And they can always see what you're doing.
Yeah, and they'll always be able to see what you're doing. And being a viewer as well, like Cami like watches the streams from the office.
Yeah, like I'm a PhD student, and like if my supervisor came, he asked me like, "What are you watching?" It's like I'm basically just listening music. I have a timer like on the screen, so just help me to have things done. So he was like, "Okay, it's fine. I mean, you are working."
I'm a talking timer.
Yeah, I have a talking timer, personal talking timer. So yeah, so I mean, it not necessarily disrupt your work. It could be like you can do both.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Hi, I'm sorry if you already covered this because I came in a little bit late. I'm another ADHD type, and all of my community are as well, which is kind of like the focal point of our like whole thing is all we talk about. How do you find like maintaining the boundary of actually like working in the focus time and not getting super distracted by chat and like wanting to continue the conversation after your breaks? Oh.
Oh, it is difficult, right?
Yeah.
Because like I see it as if you were with your group of friends studying at the library, you start like going out for a little bit of air. You go out for like, just, and then a coffee, and then like, oh, let's go. It is difficult, right? But I feel like a lot of people in chat are like those people. You always have that friend that's like, can we go back to work? Can we go back?
And I think this is also part of the moderation to tell the streamer like, okay, now it's focus time because we also need to work.
Yeah, most of the time they're the ones like, let's say 3, 2, 1, hey, focus, let's go back. Am I that boring? All right, thank you. But for sure, like if you think about like your group of friends, you're always gonna have like one person that's gonna be there like, let's go back to work. Yeah, there's a bit more support, I think.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for the question.
Yep. Hello. You mentioned someone that was doing a combination co-working and League of Legends as a break. I don't think it's your area, but
No, the opposite. They were doing a League of Legends and then a break.
okay.
Yep.
But I found that interesting. If you would like to do something like that, how would you give tips on how you structure it or how you prepare the community for the kind of sudden changes between the two moods?
Or like, oh, you mean like if I wanted to do like a game during the break?
Yeah.
We actually do like
we do have games because break just chatting breaks can be super boring as well. So we do
Thank
have.
you, coming. We're talking
Because sometimes we get repetitive because we talk about productivity and study tips and this kind of thing. So and we have new people coming every single time. So then they ask the same questions. So during the break, G's answered the same questions over and over again. But do we have
Do you speak English?
but we do have small short games during, but it's not like League of Legends because that would be super long break.
Well, we used to have Akadrips, who was most of the time doing another streamer, who was doing most of the time during the breaks games. Like marbles, if you think about it, it's very
as
short.
a reward for the viewers. At the end, you can play with the viewers.
Yeah. As long as not I think as long as not maybe too long of a game. Like if you start Minecraft in 10 minutes, what do? You break a tree. That's it.
Get killed by a creeper.
Yeah, that's it. I think we have the last questions.
Thank you
So much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hey, thank you for taking so much time for the questions also. It's really cool. I'm interested in, currently all of the study streams which I know are rather topic agnostic, so it's really this meta thing about how do you study, what do you do, Pomodoro here and there, lengths are varying. Have you ever thought about being content specific or kind of also discussing certain topics like, I'm currently studying for maths, or I'm at work, I'm looking for a go-to-market strategy for a certain product, or I'm founding a company and I'm starting a stream and kind of building a community there?
So I personally don't do a specific topic, mostly because I don't believe that I'm that knowledgeable in one topic at all. I don't have one that I could feel breaks. But there's a lot of people that are doing coding breaks where they talk. There's the entire community is about software, so they stop in during the break and they talk about I don't know what they talk in software. I don't know, but they talk about keyboards and they talk about lenses. I don't know stuff that they talk about. But yeah, for sure, the more you go specific, I believe, on something, the better it is, because you will find people that are so interested in what do you like, and they're also going to recommend you things, and they're going to be telling you stuff, and the community will grow up even bigger, for sure. I hope I answered your question.
Yeah.
No.
It's just interesting to get your impression, your take on it. All good. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I think we're done. Thank you so much for being part of this. This is us. If you want to follow, my name is the same everywhere apart from my server. It's just it's StudyTme the same. But then you can find us on discord.gg/cogang. If you have any questions, DM me. My DMs are open. Whatever you want, also getting a call and I help you out to set up a co-working stream or whatever, I don't know. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you
Really
very much.
appreciate
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Or also now, if you want to ask questions, I don't mind.